Hi guys, welcome to Cinema Express. Today we have Amruta Subhash with us. She's known for her terrific performances in Secret Games, Choked, Bombay Begums, and now she's coming up in a new show called Sabu Achar Private Limited. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Karthik.
Yeah, ma'am. I want to start off with this. This is like when I was watching your trailer, for Sasbo and Achar. Uh, like the trailer ended and I was waiting for a Netflix logo because a lot of times like you are you're on a Netflix show. So like after it ended and then I realized it is a TVF show and it is for my to my like pleasant surprise is TVF because I'm a big TVF fan and I have like recently after Panchayat even more so. I want to start off with this. I want to know how you like mostly you are in the characters you play are mostly in my opinion are worthy of spin-offs in like Choked or in like any other show, like the even if the small characters, they need to deserve they need to have a story of their own. So I want to know how in this like how did you come up with like this is going to be my lead role in an OTT space, and how was it working with TBF, and what made you think this is the show I'm going to do and I'm going to play a lead in it.
It's wonderful, wonderful. The very apt words, I must say. Yes, I'm a TVF fan too. I love the content they are bringing into OTT space. I have seen most of their shows, and I was always like, wow. I told Arun Kumar also, like, every show the content is rich, and I have always been chaser of good content. I'm attracted to
Yeah,
good content. And my favorite sentence is content has been queen king, but now content is becoming queen, because I think women centric uh, roles are being written, and I'm very happy to be in these times, because when I was younger I was worried, because I always wanted to do meaningful roles. I didn't want to get slot in a particular kind of role after a certain age. But thank God OTT happened to India. I didn't know it that time, but it has happened. And as you said, yes, I've been doing varied kind of roles. And thank you. Even I had said this to each of my directors, that I have thought of my character whole journey, like whether it has been a supportive character for other projects we have been talking. But yes, I have been fortunate, I would say, to have creators who could give you that feel that this character deserves a full length story of her own. Coming back to this project, when I started reading it, I was fortunate to have, I was given the whole script. And as you said, I was TVF fan. So when I realized TVF is producing it, I was really happy. And then, my Guru Nasiruddin Shah has told me that you have to do a role whose conflict is shown on screen.
yeah,
Don't go after
yeah,
only protagonist
yeah,
roles, because sometimes protagonist roles are only one dimensional, because, they
yeah,
have one emotion and they'll keep that emotion on face, and they'll be like
yeah,
that. Then it's
yeah,
boring to portray that. But then it was ideal for me that it was a protagonist role with which was great, uh, very well written,
yeah,
and that is the ideal combination which this script offered me. And then again, Apurva Singh Karki, I had seen Aspirants, and I was great
yeah,
fan of that show. And when I realized that Apu is directing this, I was all the more like, sometimes some projects give you all the tick marks:
yeah.
protagonist roles, great production house, great director, and then a platform like Z5 who is supporting you and bringing up this story. So everything got ticked, and then what else? I think I'm in the best times as an actress, too.
Ma'am, I want to know you have done mostly like the roles you have been doing, like some of them, like you have done varied roles and stuff, but some of them are about like middle class women. Okay, like in Chok, you're playing a middle class woman. In this Sasbo Cha Private Limited, you're also playing a just such roles like do they lure you like stories of middle class housewives or middle class women? Like, is there always there was a thing I want to explore more about such characters?
Oh no, in fact, in a film like Dhamaka, I played a completely
Hmm.
different character. But
Yeah,
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 you're right. Like, or for example, Kusum Devi Yadav was completely different
yeah.
economic class. But yes, I have seen my nanny hall was a village, so I have seen
Oh,
village women a lot, and so I have a different connect with such characters, I would say. But I'm really amused and pleasantly surprised with the variation these characters are giving me, like, Choked is completely different. Like Suman, for example,
Yeah.
she might be illiterate, but she's completely different than Lily from Bombay Begum, because
Yeah.
Lily is street smart,
Yeah. Yeah.
But Suman is someone who was in her father's kitchen, and from that kitchen she has traveled to her husband's kitchen. She has not seen the world at all. She don't know she's not exposed to the world at all. So she's completely different. Even if she's illiterate, her illiteracy is different than Lily's illiteracy is different than the Choke character, I would say, because Choke, even that character, she's extrovert, like, she's a little bit chalu and all that. So Suman is completely different, and that timidity of she has not seen the world kind of a thing. And that woman who is not ambitious at all, for her only husband and kids has been her world, and then that world gets destroyed, and then how she gathers herself was a completely different journey. Even if the character belonged to middle class, it was a completely different take altogether.
Ma'am, I want to know this also. Like, as you said, like you have played different characters. Like, you have played a spy in Sacred Games. You were a editor in Dhamaka. So, like in your career, what I have observed is that you have always like striving to do different roles. Like, you want to do something very polar opposite of whatever you have played. Are there like such times like where like a director or a maker or producer comes up to you and has a role which like you think is going to typecast me, or like is there any particular type of role which you are being offered a lot and you think, oh, this is not, I should do this, because like what is that process, how does it go, like do you say no to such people, like, or what do you go
Earlier
about?
it used to happen, but now earlier it used to happen because industry works like, if you do a role very nicely, then they think that,
Yeah.
oh, now same roles, like,
Yeah.
they sometimes people love you that way, that they want
Yes.
to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, even people, even audience wants you in the same kind of, we like you like that. Sometimes, audience also told me, oh, you were villain in that, we didn't like that. So I'm like, oh, but then I wanted to do that, so like that. So yes, such things do happen, but then I say no to a lot of work. I say no to a lot
Is
of
there a
work.
particular role which you get offered though, like some sort of role which you did really well, and some other director or a writer came up to you with very similar role? Is there any sort of role like
So
that?
after Gully Boy, I was given many mothers roles.
Oh.
After Gully Boy. But then Gully Boy was not only a mother's role, but very few
Yes.
people understood that. It was Razia's role, really, because
Yeah.
a woman who says, "Kya tune kabhi socha tha mujhe kaise chhuna hai?"
Yeah.
is not only a mother, she's a
Yeah.
woman, she's a modern woman saying
Yeah.
such powerful statement. But very few people, sometimes, of course, many people understood it, but some people did not understand. They just slotted me as a mother, and then they started asking me for those kind of roles, but I kept on saying no. And then I got, of course, Kusum Devi Yadav. Then Lily came across,
Yeah.
who is a mother, but who is such a different. She's a seductress. She's a prostitute,
Yeah.
whatever. So, like, I think if you are clear with this thing, sometimes you have to say no to a lot of work. You should know how to spend time with your own self, I think. After saying no to a lot of work, if you're sitting at home, you should be okay with that. And sometimes, even if that anxiety comes, you should
Yeah.
be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want some different role. But then people get you. People get you.
Yeah.
As I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence that these varied kind of roles are coming my way. I think now people have got it, and now they are really thinking about me as this out of box kind of thing. Like, unko ab ye dekhe dekhte how, and then that's the space I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
Even if she's a middle class character, she's not only a middle class
Yeah.
character. Has all these. Now in future also, I'm doing certain roles which are not only completely out of the box. They may belong to that class, but out of the box. Like that.
Ma'am, a lot of times you have worked with Anurag Kashyap, and Anurag sir is known to get the performance out of an actor, and mostly he has given a lot of great performances to a lot of actors. I want to know, how was the process of working with him? You have worked with him in a lot of films, and what is that one thing which you think that Anurag sir does different than other directors when like trying to get a performance?
I think as far as my career in Hindi is concerned, Anurag is he's been the turning point of my career. I got many of my roles because of his films.
Yeah.
Raman Raghav gave me, like, even Zoya told me that she had seen Raman Raghav, and she didn't even audition me for Gully Boy because she said I had seen Raman Raghav. So Anurag is what? He's my father, godfather, whatever you say, like, because, but having said that, I have got every role which I have done with him through audition. So Raman Raghav I got through audition, but then he didn't offer me Kusum Devi Yadav without audition because I have done Raman Raghav. And I like that thing about him, that every role I did with him was through audition. So, and after Kusum Devi Yadav, when I did Choke with him, I again auditioned for the role. So that is, what, that is the best part of being with him. Like, he won't offer you a role because you're his friend. Every time I have auditioned and I have got that role, that makes him different, I think. And he has pushed me. He has, in a way, actors are not, they are not self-dependent. We are dependent on our makers.
Yeah.
So he has presented me every time with a different role. Like, Raman Raghav is different from Choke, is different from Kusum Devi Yadav. So he has pushed me always out of my comfort zone, but then he has not left me alone there. He knows how to support you in that lonely space when you are pushed out of your comfort zone. And I think he himself, being a good actor, also helps that, because while we were doing Choked, many of times, for the first time, he never does that, but for Choke, it was an amazing process. He didn't give me script.
Yeah.
And I just appeared on set, and it was all improvisation, and he used to just laugh and laugh and laugh, and he won't say cut also. So it was such an exciting process, and that kind of belief, actor-director belief, which I have with Anurag, I'm lucky to have it, because I feel so safe now. I can just, there's this belief exercise in theater, you just have to let go, and that you'll be caught there, you won't fall on the ground, and so that kind of feeling Anurag gives me, and that comfort is there. So it's a very rare feeling, and Anurag has given me that. It's precious for me.
Ma'am, do you think this, like, when you're doing such roles with Anurag sir, and he's giving you, like you said, like, there is no script, and someday you just go blindly, do you like prefer directors who are like that, or do you prefer like, like there is a proper script, there is a proper dialogue, and this is what it is, or like, what is it like between, like,
no.
what is your preference?
I'm very scared when I'm not given the script.
Okay.
I want the script, and I'm a very, I want to be prepared and go on set. But only with Anurag, it has been exception. But not with his first film. When Raman Raghav happened, we had rehearsals, and Nawaz, me, and Anurag, we had rehearsals, and he gave me many takes on the character, and he gave me the graph of the character. Even Ashok Lokhande sir was there, and then, but once we worked there, I have worked maximum times with Anurag, like, and once we knew each other's process, then after that, Kusum Devi Yadav, he gave me the background, very detailed background. So, and every time with Anurag, it has been the different process. It hasn't been the same process every time. So, secondly, when I worked for Kusum Devi Yadav, he gave me the background, but not the script. So, I knew the complete background, ki raw agent kya hota hai, kaise, like, whatever. But the dialogues were given on the set. So, you know what? The actor is alert. The actor is not secure. And when an actor is a little bit scared, he or she does something which surprises herself, like, it's that kind of a thing. So he plays with actor's psyche, and then with Choked, he also rewrote the script, and he didn't even give me background of the character also. He's like, meet me on set. It was like that. So every character now, I don't know what the next step is going to be. I want to work with him next now. But let's see what will be the next step now.
Do you come up with like backgrounds yourself for some characters? Like if you are researching and stuff, and you're like, do you like, because I've seen a lot of actors do that. They write the background or like the stories of the character themselves. Like as research goes, like do you go about that? Like how is that process in like forming a character?
Yes, I believe in that. I love research. I don't write, but I meet people. Like for example, for Bombay Begums, I went to come. Like Alankrita Srivastav had arranged my meeting with a actual bar dancer called Reshma Appa in Kamatipura. Yeah. So I spent a whole day with her there. Then for every role, like for Razia in Gully Boy, I had my husband is a director himself, so he told me to. There's a garden there behind our house. So there are many Muslim women who are sitting there who are, they're hardly 17. They already have the first kid and all that. So I went and met a woman, and I was like, "Can I come to your home? Can you show me your home?" And then she was kind enough to take me to her home, and I saw Razia there, like right living her life. And then also for Saas Bahu and Achar, and Achar Private Limited, uh, I had to had a different dialect because this is the first character I'm doing, which is not a Maharashtrian character.
Yeah.
She belongs to Purani Delhi, so I had to have that. I had to have that dialect. So I had a coach called Pratik Srivastava who belongs to. He's also my junior from National School of Drama, and he's from Purani Delhi. So I realized that every region has different procedure of making achar.
Yeah.
So I asked Pratik, hey, I want to meet someone from your like Delhi
Yeah.
6 area, and I want to learn achar from them because I know how to make achar in Maharashtra, but that won't help here because someone is not from Maharashtra. So he took me to his buaji, and then his buaji gave me her procedure of making achar, which was different than our procedure of making achar. And then of course, she had that dialect and everything there. So I love to meet real people.
Yeah.
And that is what, Nasir sir taught me that otherwise you will be repetitive, right? As Amrita, I have limited experiences. So
Yes.
if I start trusting my experiences on the character, then it will be Amrita. It won't be someone else. So I always, pray to universe that show me the character I'm playing. Show me the character I'm playing. I need to have a life-like reference, real life reference, from vision.
Yeah.
And up till now, it has happened. I meet the character when I'm playing the character,
Ma'am, you're talking about a real life influence, like real life characters and stuff. There's this very interesting thing I read about you, where like you were saying that you and your husband, you guys went to Sri Lanka, and you guys were on a boat, and you saw this chameleon, and you wanted to get close to it, and from that chameleon came the character, like the spy in Sacred Games. And also you're talking about this painting you saw in Switzerland, and you wanted to like emulate that in some of your characters. I want to know, what is this process like? Real life is okay, like real life to theek hai, like most of the actors do that, but what do you take from such abstract things, like from a chameleon or from like an animal or like from a painting? What is this process?
You know what I think? We human beings are animals to start with.
Yeah.
And so, and that's what makes us, we are raw also, and so many a times, I had given this exercise also. So like, there is no limitation from where you can get and what you can get, because this is a game of energy also. It's not only dialogues I'm talking. Right now I'm talking energy with you. I'm giving you an energy, you are giving me an energy. It's like, it's kind of energy give and take. We both are animals and we are gauging out, like it's subconsciously it's happening. So if you want to go deeper and deeper in a character, I think that animal thing has to be triggered or touched. That's what I think. And every time I don't go that way, but sometimes it comes to you, like, and there are no set rules for this, but I think every art is complementary to each other. Like, I'm a singer too. I learn singing.
Yeah.
So sometimes a tune gives you an emotion. Sometimes I've seen actors using a tune. You're listening to something and something triggers inside you because it is play of emotions, right? And you don't know, you're playing with emotions, how that emotion will get triggered. So
in any role this has happened? Has this happened in some of your roles where like some sort of music kind of like puts you in that role and stuff, like you're talking about, like
yes,
how singing? Has it happened?
I'll give you an example. I call those moments as Brahmakshan. Brahmakshan is the concept I have like given this name for these moments where you have not planned anything, because it's a play of emotions and you get surprised while acting. It happens a lot on stage, because on stage there is a graph to your character. So these Brahmakshans can easily come to you because you're going through a graph. But it is very challenging in a film to achieve that stage where you go beyond yourself. This might sound spiritual to you, but this happens. It happens that character suddenly speaks to you and you can see yourself left behind and you are with someone else. That kind of a blending happens, and again you're back to your own self, that kind of thing. And you don't know how it will happen. You have no idea what will trigger that. And that is my prayer every time, that will this role give me Brahmakshan? And because you can't plan these things. It's like conceiving a child, I would say. Like you can plan and you cannot plan. You do research, as I'm telling you. You go through a process. That doesn't mean that you will achieve that or not. So I keep praying for those kshan, and every time there's a different road. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's a chameleon, sometimes it's a painting, sometimes it's a tune. You know, sometimes it's a dog playing there. You don't know like what will give you what. You know, uh, uh, sometimes it's dark night and it's that ambience which gives you something. You know, so. I did this role in Firar, which was Nandita Das' debut film, and I remember me and Shahana, we were doing a scene, and that film is about Hindu-Muslim
Yes.
this thing, ties.
Yeah.
And you know, in that film, there is a conflict between me and her. I'm Hindu, she's Muslim, and there is a stress between us. And we were portraying a very emotional scene where I slapped her. And while I was doing that scene, suddenly Azan started playing. Actually, somewhere.
Yeah.
And it brought tears in my eyes, and everyone was like, because it was a sing sound film. No, this was not planned, but it gave me my Brahmakshan. You know, that Azan playing Allah, and then that something, that Muslim and everything.
Yes.
I can't explain it in words, but
Yeah.
goosebumps, like, you know. So these goosebumps kshan I call Brahmakshans, which we can't plan, but then life has some plans for you,
Yes.
and that's the best part of it.
Ma'am, we do a segment. It's called Scenes to Discuss. So I'm going to give you some scenes of your own films, and I want to know what is the sort of like approach you had when you were doing that scene. What was going in your memory there at
Okay.
that point of time? Is any sort of problems you faced while doing that scene? What were the challenges basically?
Okay.
So first scene is with Nawazuddin Siddiqui in Raman Raghav, where he comes to the house and he's trying to terrorize the family. And your exchange with Nawazuddin Siddiqui, how was that like? How was that like?
It was a very challenging scene for me because Anurag wanted that there is a sexual connotation between that brother and
Yes,
sister.
yes.
He has abused her sexually in childhood. But Anurag said this past is there, but I don't want to go in flashback, but that past should be seen somehow between you. And I was I didn't know how to reach there.
Yeah.
But Anurag made me reach there. And we traveled through the scene towards the end of the scene, and you know, Anurag, only one line was left where he asks me, "Ye bali kahan se li?" You know, and at that time I was like, now this is the last sentence of the scene. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that leap towards that sexual thing? How like, because Anurag said Raman's character is such that you have to, if he kills me, so I have to trigger him to kill me, and he's scared of nothing. He's only scared of below the belt things. So you have to catch him there where you have to hit him below the belt. That's what he was telling me. So how to hit him below the belt?
Yeah.
So he gave me a instruction. He said कि you know, ऊपर एक खड़े मिर्च का डिब्बा रखा हुआ है, and he's making chicken there, and he asks for that खड़े मिर्च का and I'm doing this. My hands are upar. Okay.
Yeah.
And he gave me this instruction that a woman, when her hands are like these, she feels very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because certain things are vulnerable. It's a vulnerable position for a woman when your hands are up like that. And he just told Nawaz one instruction. While you say the dialogue, ye bali kahan se li, you have to touch her ear. That's it. And then he said, do whatever you want. And then he told Joy Uza, who has shot also Gullyboy, he was our cinematographer, he said, ye one shot hoga. That's what, look at his clarity.
Yeah.
You know, ye one shot hoga or ye okay take hai. You have to manage it. Whatever they do, you have to manage it. So I was like, okay. और उन्होंने नवाज को बोला था कि आप प्रेजेंट में ही रहना, वो भले पास चली जाए, कुछ भी बोले, आपको नहीं पता है वो क्या बोल रही है, आप जितना हो सके आप प्रेजेंट में रहेंगे. So these were the instructions he gave me, and he said action. And when I was like this, and when Nawaz touched me, see, ear is a very delicate position for a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm in a vulnerable position like this. And when he touched my, still it goosebumps. When he touched my ear, I shuddered, and something horrifying happened inside me, and I did not know what's going to happen afterwards. It just happened. But Anurag knew something is going to happen, so he had told Jal, and then I did not know. So he said, "Do whatever, say whatever you want to say." Then अचानक से I asked Nawaz, तेरे को करना है? Because I was transported to my childhood because he
Yeah.
has given me that background that he has abused you, right?
Yeah.
So it suddenly it transported me. It was that Brahmaksha for me. When
Yeah.
I was like this and he touched my ear, it transported me into my childhood. It was not my childhood, it was that
Yeah.
character childhood, but
Character,
somehow
yeah.
Anurag Kashyap transported, gave me that childhood. And then what I did and what Nawaz did, nothing was planned. It was all improvised. We both did not know what was happening. But finally, he was like, hai, he's confused. And I'm asking him, tere ko karna hai, chal kar le. And I took his hand, I put it on my breast, and he's like, he's taken aback because he really was taken aback. I
Yeah.
did not know I was going to do this, but I did it. And I had no, the, what do you call, hesitation in doing anything because I was in my character. But he got baffled, and that helped for the scene. And then
Yes.
whatever happened.
The
That
second,
Kashyap does to you.
yes. The second scene which I have is that demonetization scene, which is from Chok Gun, demonetization announced, and you come there and you're like, this is a very hysterical scene. Like,
Yeah.
you're laughing also, but you're sad also. And how did you crack that? Like, was it always there that I'm going to do it like this?
No,
And-
that's what Kashyap does to you. The tagline is same, but that's what Kashyap does to you because I was talking to someone on set.
Okay.
And I was telling them, now this scene, I was about to do this scene. So I was asking Kashyap, how do we do that? Shall I cry? Because this is, disaster for her.
Yeah.
So he's like, dekh lenge, haan, do. So no, ruko. He's like that. So then I'm talking to my friend Shubhra on set and I'm telling her, you know what, Shubhra, sometimes when I'm very tense, I start laughing. I was telling her.
Yeah.
I was not thinking about this scene. And Kashyap का खासियत ये है उसके कान ऐसे he has long everything he's listening to what's happening on set, nothing goes unnoticed. So I'm not aware that he's listening to me. I'm just talking to her and Roshan, he was also there. So like, I'm like, you know what? So once, I was very tense and I started telling them, in Marathi there's a word ki माझी किल्ली लागली, मतलब चाबी लग जाती है मेरी, and I keep on laughing. I can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a key gets
Yeah.
turned, and then I keep on laughing. And I'm telling her, and we are just laughing. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to do this scene. And I'm like, yeah, ready. The camera is ready. Yeah, okay. Then Anurag is like, yeah, start laughing. So I'm like, what? Yeah. When you're stressed, you start laughing. I just heard you saying that. I'm like, yeah, but how can you do this scene? No, I can't do this scene. No, this. Do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is so bizarre. And then he's like, no, I want you to laugh. You have to do it. You have hysterical laugh. I want that because I heard you saying that. And then I did it. And I was like, oh my God, what is he making me do? But it was fun. Even I was surprised. Oh my God, this scene could be played like that. Though it was from my own experience, it didn't come from me. It came from a person called Anurag Kashyap.
In the third, I want to ask about your scene in Dhamaka, where Kartik Aaryan is being hysterical and you are trying to calm him down. And how was that? Like, how did you go about that?
That was, Dhamaka has been very challenging because we used to do 40 minutes long takes. It was like a theater, like, how Ram sir shoots.
Yeah.
So, so you can't wait. You can't say cut. You have to just go on and on and on and on. So that scene was very challenging for me. And because there, she's she's the shrewdest, I would say, because he is hysterical and for her, it's as if nothing has happened. So to look at all that thing with calmness was challenging for me. I did not know how to do that. It was all Ram sir's, Ram sir kept on, creating that character for me. And frankly, I'm telling you frankly, when I saw the film, I understood what she is. I'm telling you frankly, because I just surrendered to Ram sir. I kept on doing what he was saying. But when I saw her, I was like, Acha, ye hai aurat. Oh my God. It was, for the first time, I got that kind of a feeling that after you watch the film, you understand your character. It was that kind of a thing. But so that scene was like that. And I remember one thing which Ram sir said, he had said me, you are not losing your calm, come what may. You're not losing your calm. Let him do whatever you are calm. So I had taken that thing like, yeah. And he had given me a focus that the show must go on because I'm live on air. So
Yeah.
the show must go on. So that was my focus. So I just went and I started doing that. Like, हाँ, ये करो, वो करो. I'm just giving instructions. ना ये वैसे ये करो, वो करो. And I said, अरे वो खून दिख रहा है. वो खून साफ करो. वो उल्टी दिख रहा है. ये करो. You know, she's not even raising her voice.
Yeah.
Like, and then we had to retake due to something else. And then राम सर ने मुझे कहा, अमृता, अंकिता खून पोछेगी नहीं. For Ankita, खून is a TRP. So
Yeah.
वो खून पोछेगी नहीं.
Yeah.
And that gave me insight about what Ankita is.
Yes.
She has to make news of everything. So she is excited. अरे वाह, खून
Yeah.
आ गया. You know, so that cold-bloodedness I could not imagine. So he just gave me that instruction, and that got me. And that puts Karthik off. And poor Karthik, you know, I was giving him very bad vibes before that scene started because, you know, he was actually like fuming. Look, so like he came on set and he smiled at me. And I'm like that. He's like, I'm not smiling at him. And he's like, what is she doing? And he was very angry. That helped us, I think. But Ram sir's that instruction that Ankita wants blood and she's happy that the blood is showing. So that gave me the focus of that scene.
Ma'am, I'm going to do a sort of a small rapid fire with you. I want to know like your like favorites. I'm going to give you some genre and I'm going to ask you what sort of like favorites in like any film or like series you like. Your favorite TVF sketch.
TVF what?
Sketch. Your favorite TVF sketch.
Sketch as in character?
No. Like a TVF video. Like a TVF YouTube video. Like a comedy sketch.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I have seen their shows. So like.
So any favorite show?
Gullak.
Gullak.
And now of course Saas Bahu Hacha. Privately.
What sort of like any guilty pleasure show or like movie you love?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Any guilty pleasure TV show or like any series?
Which series I like? That's what you asked?
Like yeah, as a guilty pleasure, as a guilty pleasure, particularly as a film or a series, which is like a guilty pleasure watch for you.
Guilty pleasure?
Yes.
Like that means that, you know, I have to like, could you explain that?
Like guilty pleasure, like no, it's not very like you know, it's not very arty, but I love it like to, you know, to like relax and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is arty actually, but guilty pleasure as in like I have to call it guilty pleasure because I can't stop watching it, which is Friends.
Yes. Friends.
So Friends, you know, it's a guilty pleasure because I'm like stop, and I will go on and on and on and on. That's what.
Your favorite Saas Bahu serial? Yes.
Saas Bahu Hacha Private Limited.
Apart from Saas Bahu Hacha, any case serial, K-drama, any Saas
I
Bahu
haven't
K-drama?
seen any. Sorry.
No, any Marathi serial?
Saas Bahu.
Yes.
I did one, but look at my graph. I started with a serial, Marathi serial, where, you know, I've been beaten by my husband and my, you know, but there also my sass was very good to me. So I won't say, so I could say that, but there's a graph. It's not my favorite because I was very suffocated when I was getting beaten by my husband to do that character. But now I'm happy to do a character where her husband is leaving her, but she's not that crying baby, you know.
Ma'am, before we wrap up, I want to ask this. I was seeing that apart from acting, you also like singing and writing. You have one book which is called Ek Ulat Ek Sulat. And do you like writing? Like, do you write like personally? Do you write any sort of short stories, plays, anything?
I haven't written plays or short stories, but yes, I like writing and I want to write. Right now, my form has been like I write about myself. It's that kind of a thing, autobiography, more of a thing. But yes, I want to write. And sometime I really want to make a film also. Inshallah, let's see.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you.